Hello everyone, my name is Quant and welcome back to some more League of Legends. Today we're gonna take a look at Nidalee's rework as of this patch. I'm gonna type have a patch number here or something because I don't remember. It is also probably gonna be in the description and maybe even in the title. We'll have to see about that. But basically Nidalee got a, in my opinion, rather big rework. Her abilities are still the same, but it's big enough of a rework that I really think we can talk about and discuss it. And quite a bit actually happened this patch. It was a rather big patch. Many items got changed. Primarily the lifesteal items doesn't give as much lifesteal anymore. There's a new item for the mana hungry 80 carries or anything they want to attack damage lifesteal. Also column reduction and gives mana back. And gives mana back on auto attack and column reduction goes hand in hand because everyone that actually spams much that actually wants to have the mana back actually benefits from column quite a bit. One noticeable champion is Ezreal or something similar to that actually auto attack quite a bit and just likes to poke. So the column reduction and the get mana back I think goes very much hand in hand. Also that if you actually get more column reduction and spam more spells, it costs more, so getting the mana back helps to benefit from the column reduction. If you just get column reduction without any mana or regen or anything, you're just gonna run out of mana right away. But anyways, more to Nidalee now that we got some clips here. The most noticeable difference is that she now has access to her ult, changing into the Cougar form right at level 1. And this is something that I think they should have done a long time ago. Ever since they pretty much came out with the Jace and Elise, and that's actually quite some time ago those champions came out. Both of them have the exact same idea, they access in second form, gets a new set of abilities, but only Nidalee was the one that still only got her second form on level 6. Quite a bit of a difference. So now that is changed, and that's great in my opinion. Not only is it better for Nidalee now, I mean getting her ult was so big, it was insane. Scaling up her ult still benefits the Cougar form. All her abilities in Cougar form are based on the rank in her ult, like they still were before. So that part is not changed. But just the fact that she now can go into Cougar form and actually have Cougar form to start clearing and everything, and just not standing out attack and throw spears until you hit level 6. So I think it adds way more variety in her laning phase. But we're gonna take the changes one at a time. They change her passive, so not only do you gain movement speed while you are in the bush, you can see from 340 to 374. I'm running faster while in the bush and for a short time after, leaving a trail of leaves. But now I also run faster if I run towards an enemy. You can see movement speed is increased by 10% for 2 seconds, or while you maintain in the bush. So in the bush, and then 2 seconds when you're out. 1, 2, as you can see. But I also run now 30% faster if I run towards an enemy in a bush and for 2 seconds after leaving a bush. But it also got a second part, which I actually think is the one major part that actually changed the old Nidalee to the new, and that is if you hit someone with either your Q, not minions though, it doesn't affect minions, or with the trap, they become marked, hunted. If you hit a champion, as you can see here, damaging champion with the javelin toss or bushwhack, I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced, but whatever, causes her to hunt these targets for 4 seconds, granting vision on them. So not only do your W already grant vision for like, oh, how long is it? It is still 4 seconds, no? I think it's 4 seconds. Anyways, Her Q now also reveals. If hidden champion, that is. What this does is also that if she is in her cat form and running towards them, she actually runs faster, and her next takedown, pounce and swipe are enhanced. So any one of these abilities you use after hit with your passive, I think deals around 30% more damage, if I remember correctly. As you can see here, now next auto attack is 4, and you can see all the numbers here. I gave one more. You can see it doesn't change. None of the numbers change. It's just ranks in R still that changed the damage in Cougar form. But as you can see here, I actually have here on the ability itself, Hunter, the targets take 33% additional damage from takedown, which is the Q ability here in Cougar form. Haunted can be pounced to... Targets can be pounced to add up to a double the normal range. So if you are pouncing towards someone that got the mark hunted, you jump to them really far compared to what you usually do. And I don't know if they've done anything, but it almost feels like her pounce is longer than it used to, but I don't think it is. But anyways, and her swipe haunted hunted targets reduce the cooldown of pounce to 1 second. So you can see more damage, easier to reach target, and basically just attacking and then easier to jump to them again, because it reduces the cooldown. So that's her new passive and haunted and everything. Haunted, it's not haunted, it's hunted. Sorry for that. I'm bad at pronunciation. Actually I'm not, it's just that I don't really care for what I'm saying, so it can come out as haunted when it's hunted, obviously. Another big change they made is her spears. Don't really do as much damage on max range as they used to. And the biggest noticeable difference is it's not as thick anymore. It's actually just halved. And we're actually gonna go in here to just we can check pounds because it's easier to see. 50 plus 13, and now it's 100 plus 13. So you can see the damage goes up a bit. But anyways, it's way smaller now. It's so small that you will never hit a minion unless you actually aim right on them. It's insane how small it become, and it got a higher cooldown now than before. You can see it's very small. So it's incredibly small. But that's that. It's cool, I believe, because now it's less frustrating to actually... It comes a spear to you and you actually dodge it, and you actually dodge it. So it's less potential as a poke before team fights, and more or less like I'm gonna throw it at you in a team fight, because if you're in a team fight you can be stunned or slowed or have loads of distraction, making it hard for you to actually dodge, and that's actually where they are supposed to hit. It's more of a fight than just poke thing, and that's really what they want to reduce. It's not just for poking, because it's so small now, it's really hard to actually hit with compared to before. It was 60 with before, I don't know exactly what 60 what, but at least 60, and now it's 30, so it's halved in size, which is just insane. Her trap now deals a percentage of the current HP of them. As you can see here, when sprung by an enemy, it reveals and take 20 plus 12 now with my scaling plus 1% of its current health at magic damage over 4 seconds. So it's a little better if they got full HP. Just have placed as a trap, I guess. It's not a huge difference, really. It doesn't change that much. Her heal is pretty much exactly the same. I don't think they changed it whatsoever. So now the Cougar form. This is where they done most changes. Her Q is exactly the same. You activate it, boom, and your next auto attack deals more damage. It's exactly the same. The main thing they actually changed is the frustration of actually controlling Nidalee, which actually is huge. So looking at her W here, before it just jumped forward, like that, just straight forward, in the way that Nidalee was facing. Now it actually jumps to your cursor instead. This is huge. Before it was actually very hard. If I wanted to attack that minion, I was running through the minion line here, and you can see if I run through minions here, Nidalee cannot really go straight all the time. Oh, did they add ignore unit collision when in Cougar form? Because I have no unit collision whatsoever. They might actually done that. That's something I didn't know. And it does. It doesn't say that anyway either. I mean, or did they just completely remove unit collision whatsoever? Because I don't really feel any unit collision. What the hell? Why do I not feel any unit collision? Nidalee doesn't really. Moving through Bruiser. I don't know if this is a bug or something. I have no unit collision. Well, whatever. Before, at least, when you had unit collision, for some reason I do not have that right now. I don't know if it's a bug or it's supposed to be like that, or if they just removed unit collision. I didn't read that part on the patch. It would be really silly if they did though, but anyways, you knew if you were running through here, you kinda had to fiddle around a bit and actually pouncing towards the minion. If I wanted to pounce here, I actually had to go up here and pounce, because if I tried to run through this, it would be like, and you didn't know where you pounced. It was just impossible. So now I can just run up here and just pounce to the side, and it actually pounces where I want to. Additionally, if I kill something in Cougar form, pounce cooldown is reduced to 1 second. So if you can see it's 5 seconds, but if I kill something, it reduces to 1. So if I just jump in, kill something, I can jump out rather quickly, instead of having to wait that time. And that's to compensate that they actually kind of nerfed her range. I mean, you cannot really stand there and poke, which is really what she was for before, so they nerfed that. So this is to compensate that you can just jump in, deal some quick damage and then jump out, if you're doing it successfully. And if they are hunted, your Q is gonna deal so much more damage, or you can just pounce to them way easier, that it actually shouldn't be that much of a problem to actually do it way more effectively than you could before. And they also changed the swipe so that 2 is target in the direction of where you have your cursor, instead of just right in front of you, because it could be very frustrating if you try to jump and you got to jump wrong and use the swipe wrong. Because yeah, that's pretty much how you did it. You just jumped, swiped, and then queued. That's pretty much how you did it. So they switched that as well, so it claws where the cursor is. This is something that I've discussed with my friend, that they should really make this. There's no reason to have her just jump towards the front of her face. I mean, she can probably just jump to the side as well. And this, I think, is gonna make it way easier and cooler, actually being able to just jump through walls and everything much easier. I don't think I can jump this though, this is way too long. But I can just now run straight through here and then just jump over if I could. I don't think if I can jump over this wall. I think this wall is a little bit too wide. Oh, there you can see it actually works. Instead of having you to kinda come from a side and then you have to back down and back forward and then jump. That's kinda the way you had to do it before, at least. So now it actually increases the utility quite a bit to actually just being able to jump like that. Because there's no way I could jump like that. There's no way I could just run through, run along this wall and then just turn. I mean, you can see it doesn't work. What you had to do was basically go forward and do it like that. And that was just really unnecessary, annoying, and removed most fun of the actual gameplay. So this is a great thing that they made. And also increasing the cooldown of the pounce, but decreasing the cooldown if you kill something. I think that's good, because that means if you go in and actually kill something, you can jump out to safety rather quickly. But you cannot jump around like a maniac and escape every single fight, every single time. It actually got 5-second cooldown, and I got 5% CDR, and I think it's 5. Now it's 471, but that's because of the 5% CDR. So it's less frustrating to chase her, which in my opinion is good. Because it was really frustrating to chase Nidalee. She could jump, and then now, yeah, it was like 2 seconds. She could jump, she could go here, and then I could jump right away. Now I actually have to stand here and then jump. That's actually not a good option, so I cannot jump 2 walls like in 2 seconds. And I think that's good because it was so hard to catch Nidalee, and she just threw spear at the range. Now it's way harder for her to throw the spears, and she cannot jump around as much unless it's actually jumping in and actually killing something and then jumping out. And gaining the ult right away is great in my opinion, because it helps her laning phase so much and actually changes up her laning phase quite a bit. You can just pounce up, and then you can... Pouncing in the lane is still quite safe, because you just kill a minion and it's reduced to 1 second again. So it's not like, oh, the 5-second pounce is gonna make it so you cannot farm in Cougar form. It actually is reversed. It's actually shorter if you just kill something relatively quickly. It's just that if you jump away, you cannot pounce in as easy again. You can actually pounce, and then you can pounce again. Now I didn't kill something, so I couldn't pounce there. And I pounce, and then I pounce. So if you actually kill something, especially in the laning phase, it's really easy to just maneuver, and this can be used very greatly to shorten the distance really quickly. Like, I just need to get there. For example, they got a ranged care meter here. I can just bite my time, wait until a target is relatively low on HP, and I can just jump on it, getting the killing blow, and then jump again. And you can see I can close that distance relatively fast, just because I pounce the target that dies from the pounce, and then I can jump again. So it actually gives a little bit of laning phase variety, and that's good in my opinion. That you can just pounce, swipe, pounce, like it all makes sense. And I think it adds way more of playstyle to Nidalee. But these changes, all in all, I think actually puts her more towards an assassin than a mage, or maybe even a bruiser. She can still be really effective with poking with her spears, but it's way harder to do than it was before. Just way harder. So just being the one that just stood here and poke spears, it's not gonna happen. Like, they don't do as much damage, if I recall, on max range, and they are super much smaller. They are only half the size, and they increase the cooldown. So you can see I got a 5.7 second cooldown, which is a 6 second cooldown normally, like originally without CDR, and it's max rank and everything. So it's really long now compared to before, which is what they wrote in the patch note, how they want it. They don't want it to be like you just throw spear endlessly until they have to fight, and by that time they have so low HP. This actually gives her way more of a play style in my opinion. But it also, like I said, kinda halves her ability as a mage. I think it would be rather cool if they brought back the extra armor magic resist when you are in Cougar form, just because they nerfed her range stance so much. The Cougar form is actually almost buffed, increase of, like, it's way easier to maneuver her. If you kill something with pounce, you can jump again, adding great counterplays and everything in the laning phase. And I just think that her Cougar form is way better now. Her spears are still there, they are just not as irritating. Her heal and her trap, they don't really be doing anything to the team fight. So definitely in the team fights now, she's built to be more around her Cougar form, which I think is more interesting. It's just that I think that she might now have turned out to be a little bit squishy to actually do the Cougar form effectively. So I actually think that she could actually go as a Bruiser. You can see her, I'm pretty sure, her Q is a next auto attack, which means it's an auto attack resetter. You can see this by boom boom. Right? You auto attack and then you press your Q, it's an auto attack resetter. So actually getting attack damage basically gives a 1-to-1 scaling to this, just for the fact that it's actually is a second attack deals more damage. And I'm not entirely sure, but it might actually even scale on 80. Yeah, it's just a pure 1-to-1 scaling. So it basically deals your physical damage and extra magic damage and more damage if they are lost HP. And you get attack speed from your E, so you can actually build her like a AD. Her other abilities still got the AP scaling, so it's not as good, but I think you can build like a Bruiser with maybe like Trinity, because Trinity and Lichbane, they basically work the same, except that Lichbane actually needs more item to actually make it good, while Trinity Force is really good on her own. So actually building Nidalee as some kind of Bruiser with pretty much just Trinity Force, I think would be really, really, really good. Just because I don't think her AP style is there anymore. It's like she was the #1 just ranged, I poke you to death and that's how I win the fights. She's not like that anymore, and just for that reason I think that her Cougar form is just so much better compared to everything else right now, that I think she really benefits more on being in the actual Cougar form. And she actually might even have a potential to be a jungler now, because she starts out with her Cougar form at level 1. I haven't even thought about it until just now, but actually her Q can deal some cool damage in the jungle, and I actually think that she can be turned into a jungler as well. The W to increase attack speed and just pounce to clear up. And her ganks are not that bad. If you can hit them with a spear from a bush, if you can hit them with a spear, which cannot be that easy maybe, but if you get a stun or something from your friend and you actually hit them with a spear, they will get marked and you can just run up to them and do the Q, or you can jump to them and easily close that gap. And then maybe you fight some, they survive, you pounce, jump out, and then throw a surprise spear. Like some surprise spears, if aimed correctly, can still obviously hit. I'm not saying that her Q is impossible to hit. I just say that it's way harder to hit with, so it's not really like you want to build nearly around her spears anymore, because they are so hard to hit with compared to before. Before, even if you just hit 1 or 2 spears before a team fight, it was definitely worth it, but it was so easy. Now, if you hit 1 or 2 spears before a team fight, it's good, but it's just less likely. It can still happen. But yeah, so I actually think that Nidalee could go ahead and become a jungler, just because she starts with her Q, like getting the blue, attacking from, like start here with the blue. Now it's probably relatively hard, but you can actually probably line up the Q so you hit the blue and not the minion, and you get help anyways. And if you attack the red, it's the same thing, you just line up the shot so you hit between. But you can maybe do that, because it's so narrow now, so you can actually do that. And then you just go in and use a Q, and then you, maybe second rank, you get your E, because now you can go to the next camp, you can throw your Q, go up and doom, and then you can swipe. And if you want to, you can actually increase your attack speed with a heal, and it actually is a heal as well, so it helps out you to jungle better. And then you get your pounce, which maybe like doing bushwalk, I mean, it's probably not worth it. I mean, it doesn't do that much damage, but for the pounce, so you get the pounce here, and then you kill some can kill one, and then you can pounce again. I definitely think she actually can become a jungler. Like a Bruiser jungler, not really an AP jungler, but a Bruiser. Like, getting that relatively fast Trinity force, and then pretty much becoming a tank. Like, Trinity force with the tank items. Maybe a Sunfire Cape, maybe not, but maybe run doing Omen. So if you get one a hunted on someone, you jump up to them and activate run doing Omen, make it hard for them to actually escape. Become really more of a up your face Bruiser tank. I actually think that would be really cool, and I'm actually gonna try that out. I actually think that could be really cool. I didn't even think about it just until now. But yeah, I'm not gonna ramble on too much. This is the change to Nidalee. So basically what they did is they nerfed the spam and hit chance of her spears, and I think they reduced the damage tiny bit when used on max range. And they pretty much made it more so you actually wanna hit with something and then jump into the Cougar form. You actually benefit from hitting something with your Q, change to Cougar form, and then jump to them and reach them and really just do havocly damage right away. And just because so much of her damage is actually scaled on their HP, like her Q, which is her main damage, that together with Trinity Force still makes her do damage even if she is built as a Bruiser. So I actually think that would be better, just because her AP scaling is her spear, her W and her E, and her Q also got on AP scaling, but as you can see it's not that good. It's only like, you can see 52 AP and it deals 12 extra damage. Sure, it's up to 31 extra AP when they got the lowest amount of HP, but it's not really that much of an AP scaling. If you ask me, same with the pounce, it's not that great of an AP scaling, mainly because it's so spammy and actually not really used mainly for killing. And same with her swipe, it doesn't have that much of a scaling. Like, what actually have a scaling on Nidalee is her spear, and I actually think that it's not worth building around the spears anymore. I think it's better to actually build around the Cougar form and have the spears as a nice bonus. The spears can still do some quite damage, and quite some nice damage, even if you don't have that much HP. AP, sorry. It's not a huge amount, but as you can see, a 450 extra damage on max rank when used on max range. It's actually quite a bit. But I'm in the future definitely gonna build Nidalee as a Bruiser more around of her Cougar form. I think that's way more interesting, and I kinda like these changes all in all. I just think that since they made the human form so bad compared to before, if you so will, I think they need to increase her Cougar form survivability just a tiny bit, adding that extra like 10 armor magic resist, something as small like that. Doesn't need to be huge, pretty much just like Jace when he's in hammer form, and actually Elise as well, all of them gain extra armor and magic resist. At least Elise used to, I don't remember if they actually remove that or not. But she's way easier to maneuver. You can actually jump in and then just cleave and kill something, and then you can actually jump back. It's not like you have to maneuver yourself, so you actually oh, I jumped over. You can actually just straight up jump backwards. So it's way easier to maneuver now, and I like that a lot. Sure, if you don't go AP, her healing is not gonna be that great, but in my opinion, it's probably just better to use it as an attack speed tool. Like attack speed and then just go in and boom. Actually gaining that extra attack speed, and if you have a Trinity Force, it can actually increase quite a bit to quite a bit of damage. So in my opinion, I think she's way more fun to play. Well, the idea around it at least is way better, and I really like the new passive and the maneuverability in her Cougar form. I would just probably like to see a slight increase in just base defense, basically non-item defense in her Cougar form, just a slightly something, or a slight increase in movement speed, pretty much as the Elise got in her spider form, just something a little bit that would actually help out Nidalee to actually be in her Cougar form. But yeah, definitely be prepared to see many Nidalees do bad, because many Nidalees will probably build her pretty much the same, just try and throw the spears, and just doesn't get the same result, because it's way harder to hit. And for the sake of argue, I'm just gonna buy a Revenance here real quickly. Can even get an Abyssal Scepter, just getting as much AP as I can, and actually look at the scaling here. Her Q, yes, got a good scaling if on the max range. Hitting on the max range is pretty much just gonna be pure luck. Like, it's so small now, so unless they are stunned or just AFK or something like that, you're probably not gonna hit it unless it's just pure luck. So it's probably gonna be on the closest range, which is about here, something like her auto attack range, or towards the middle of the circle. I don't think you're gonna hit that much on the max. Maybe like here or something is gonna be quite often. And if you just take the difference between well, pretty much just take your 345 there and remove 115 there, you're gonna get pretty much the half ranged spear damage, and you can see the scaling is not that great actually. Same with her W here. It's also the only scaling got is the percentage of life from the current HP, and you can see this can actually do quite a bit of damage against tanks, because right now it got I got almost 300 AP and it got 22% of its current HP. That can actually be quite a bit. But against an AD carry it's not really that much, and they can lifesteal that up very quickly, and it's not like you can use it in a team fight. It's very small, it takes some time to activate it and everything. And her heal, you can see it got a like 0.5 AP scaling, so it's not that great either. Going into a Cougar form, you can see her Q got a measly, very bad scaling. Even at the maximum rank, it's around somewhere like, what can it be, like 0.65 or something like that in AP scaling, if used at the maximum total damage. And that's not that much. Same with the pounce here, 86 extra damage from almost 300 AP. Like, it's a scaling of pretty much 0.33 or something like that. If I have 300 AP, it would probably be something like an extra 100 damage. And in my opinion, that's not that much damage. I mean, I need an extra like 600 AP to add the base damage, which is 200, to make it deal 400 damage. And that's just insane much AP without really that much of a damage. And same with her cleave. Like, it's a measly, very bad scaling. In my opinion, I would actually probably like if they changed her scaling here to actually AD or something like that, or if they made her E dealing some damage matched up to their HP or something like that, the current HP or something like that, or actually having a damage over time on it maybe. I don't know, but something would be cool. Because if you build her like a Bruiser or something like that right now, which I think is pretty much the only way to build her good as of now, unless you're incredibly good at hitting with the spears, which in my opinion still only got a measly scaling, unless you get a lucky hit from the max range, which you're not pretty much gonna aim at, you're pretty much just gonna get it on pure luck. Then yeah, it can still do damage. But that's the thing, her swipe doesn't really gain anything towards the later stage if you build as a Bruiser. It didn't do that before either. It's just pretty much a minion clear towards the late stage of the game, and pound is to get up their face, and then you auto attack them and you hit them with Q. That's where the real damage come. I'm gonna see, I'm actually gonna hit something that got full HP with my Q with these items, even we'll see the damage it deals. That's quite a bit of damage, and if I hit something that is even damage, it's like 600 damage right there. And if I hit something that is on full HP, 350. So just add a Trinity force, and I actually think the Q is gonna be your primary damage. And just get up to their face and start hacking away on them. And yeah. That's the way I think, at least. You can build Nidalee however the fuck you want, but don't expect to build the Nidalee as a glass cannon AP like you used to and have the same effects, if I put it that way. You will not be as useful to your team if you do that compared to before. It's just that simple. It doesn't matter how good you are, you will not hit as many spears. It's just not gonna happen. But yeah, this video had become way too long, so that's the review, my thoughts about it, and my tips, at least. Take to them for whatever you want. You can check other people doing some kind of similar video, or maybe some pro player got some what they have thought about the new Nidalee changes and everything, and check out what they say and compare to mine and you see what kind of fits your playstyle better, because that's also the thing. If you're a mid player and because of these changes you think I can never play Nidalee again, then it might be true, but it might not be. It might be that her human stance is so nerfed that having her as an AP mid is probably not even gonna be good anymore. At least what I think, because you're not gonna hit with that many spears, and her Cougar form doesn't have that much of an AP scaling compared to, like, all the damage you pretty much have is the lichbane together with loads of AP and your Q. So the Q got some damage and then it's the lichbane proc. And I think you can just as well go for a trinity force and pretty much go Bruiser. That's my thoughts, at least. But that might not be true. I mean, she might be able to play AP mid, and someone gets maybe like a quality like, oh, she can actually do this, and buy different item. Maybe I don't think like attack speed AP Nidalee would be a thing, but maybe. Like, I don't know. I haven't tried it, and maybe some come on with some wicked ideas. I mean, AP Trinity, come on, that didn't happen for the first like 3 years, and no one thought about it, and then one guy found it out, and it became super popular. I mean, stuff like that happens. It exists. So I don't know exactly how to play Nidalee. I don't main Nidalee, but I think when I play Nidalee, I'm gonna try her more for Bruiser. But I'm actually gonna try her in the jungle. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna make a video where I play Nidalee in the jungle, so you guys will have to see if that actually works. First of all, I'm probably gonna do a custom map to see how well I can do these buffs and everything alone, and compare that to kind of like, okay, if I had some help it would be this much easier, and see so it actually works, because I don't like to just go into a game and do something that doesn't even work. I mean, that could be frustrating for the people that is actually trying to play seriously, even though it's gonna be a normal game. And yes, I'm gonna play that in a normal game because I've never played it in a ranked game. I'm simple as that. But look forward to that video. It might come out same day as this video or just the day after. I mean, you will have to see. But that's my dragged out thoughts on Nidalee. I don't even remember her secondary like name thingy, but you get the idea. And look forward to a game where I play the new reworked Nidalee. Not gonna go full mage, I can tell you that. It's gonna be a Bruiser build in some kind of look, some kind of Bruiser build. And yeah, that's gonna be that. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe, leave a like, add to favorite, add a comment, and everything. You know the drill. It helps a lot. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.